Hello. Today I'll be talking about some of the most recommended art supplies, the things I probably won't buy again. When we start exploring art supplies, it's very easy to get influenced by reviews, trends, and recommendations. Something looks beautiful, professional, or everyone online seems to love it. Some materials are even treated like absolute must-have supplies. But art materials are very personal. What works perfectly for one artist might not work at all for another. Some of these high recommended materials sound amazing in theory, but in practice they can be quite frustrating to use. So today I'm sharing a few materials that simply didn't work for me and a few things I probably would never buy again. I also share how I save money on art supplies I want to try, because some professional materials can be incredibly expensive. Posca markers. They are actually very nice and very reliable when it comes to opacity and durability. But the problem for me is that I simply don't use them very often, so they tend to dry out. Activating them again takes time, and I don't like interrupting myself when I'm in the middle of the creative flow. I personally prefer easier and more reliable options like ink or gouache. I can keep them in my drawer for years and they are ready to use in seconds. Nothing gets wasted. Fountain pens. All of them. I actually love them. You can use any type of ink and the flow is fantastic for writing. But for me, they have a few big drawbacks. The ink dries out. They tend to clog, and keeping them in a good shape takes time and effort. Even when they are ready, the flow isn't perfect for expressive marks, especially on textured paper. You have to be careful with every movement, and quick, energetic strokes often make them skip. Sometimes a single drop final flows, and even then it's not fully reliable. It can be messy, and a little cleanup is often unavoidable. Maybe one day this pen will find a use with me, but not today, not right now. This is quite an interesting product. It's made to blend pencils or oil pastels, and it works really well, especially when working with layers. With pencils, there's a point where you can't add another layer of color, but this liquid makes it possible. My only problem with it is simple. It stinks, and somehow it even evaporated from a closed bottle. I don't really need this product. With the pencils I use, I can build up so many layers that a simple pencil blender is enough. And it gives me the same result. This alcohol blender isn't really essential, and I probably won't buy it again, but it was definitely worth giving a try. Graphite pencil set. What was I even thinking, buying so many? This is what I usually reach for. And here's what I really use every single time. Graphite powder is really useful. It gives nice effects and I love using it. But I can make my own. That way I can control exactly what type of graphite I use. When you buy it in a jar or bottle, it's usually just one type, like HB, for example. And the one I have is actually quite difficult to work with. It looks nice at first, but in practice, it doesn't stick to the paper and it's really messy. I prefer my own because it's easy to control and I can create irregular patterns, something that's impossible with the ready-made. If I add more, it becomes greasy and then it's hard to add another pencil layer on top. Without a fixative, it's basically impossible to draw over it properly. Fine liners. Who doesn't use them? They are not very expensive, convenient, and for some a must-buy drawing tool. Well, I have a serious problem with them. I usually use them on watercolor paper, and the nibs just aren't made for that. They don't last long, and the sound they make, oh my god. This dry squeak is definitely not a symphony for my poor ears. They're archival and mostly waterproof. I admit that, it's fantastic. But I found a perfect alternative for myself. You wouldn't believe how many ballpoint pens are archival and waterproof. And for a fraction of the price. Not to mention, you probably already have them at home. Only the Uni Deluxe I have here was more expensive, but drawing with it is such a pleasure. And it doesn't make a sound. Ballpoint pens and gel pens are also durable on textured paper, which makes them my go-to now. And here we have the queen, number 1, Prismacolor pencils. I know so many people love them, and they are not bad, but they do have a few dark sides. They break easily, their light fastness isn't the best, and honestly, they don't even look that impressive for the price. I really don't understand why they are still considered so special when there are so many good, affordable alternatives. I regret buying them so much. I don't feel comfortable using them at all. The Queen number 2, a very special one. I do like the plastic box in this paint set, and I will definitely use it for something. I also use one color for gouache underpainting, but that's really all I use the paint for. So many people love Inktense, and for a long time I thought maybe there's something wrong with me. The pencils are designed by Derwent, which the color shown on the top is tiny, and it's hard to see the shade in warmer light. The colors look so similar that I get really frustrated when using them. The dry pencil color swatch often looks very different from the wet one, so drawing with them feels like a guessing game. Both pencils and paint are chalky, too intense and too permanent for my taste. Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils are much better made. They are well designed, light fast, and the colors are easy to recognize, dry or wet. And the best part, they are cheaper than Inktense. Watercolor sketchbook is a very personal choice, but you need to try a few to understand what you really need. Moleskine, recommended by many as a fantastic first sketchbook, and I hate it to the bone. I made a special video about it. It's good for everything, but definitely not for beginners or for watercolors. Save yourself the frustration. Stillman and Burn, a good choice for mixed media, very smooth hot pressed paper, ideal for ink and graphite, watercolor paint and gouache, not so much. This one was gifted to me, so I don't have many complaints, but no masking fluid, no tape, no hard wash, maybe color swatches, markers, my son liked it. The Perfect Sketchbook by Etcher, very good, cold pressed paper, close to rough one, but I'm scared to use it because it was so expensive. Sea White of Brighton, a decent sketchbook, quite good paper for watercolors and gouache. Very good choice for beginners and budget friendly. I love this one, but I won't buy it another one. Handmade, the paper isn't very impressive for watercolors, but it's very good for gouache. I just don't like touching it because of the cover texture, which is why I don't use it so much. Another Artisa sketchbook was also gifted to me. This one paper is much better than the previous one. My only problem is that it's spiral bound. Some people would see this as a positive, but as you notice, I'm fussy. I will explain later why. In my opinion, Moleskine and Grey Artisa are an absolute nightmare to work with for watercolors. My solution for all of this? Handmade sketchbooks. I make them with the paper I want, design them with materials I already have, and make the size I need. Later, I explain why making them at home is also great for your budget. Drawing sketchbooks are the most useful, but not the easiest to choose when you're just starting out. Still, they are definitely cheaper than the previous ones. Sea White of Brighton, square, good, thick paper, but working with graphite layers is surprisingly difficult. A bit of texture is nice, but I prefer smooth surfaces. It's heavy, very thick, and not super easy to open flat, but it's possible. In the UK, this company is very budget friendly. Next, another sketchbook from the same brand, but with different paper, much lighter, and a lovely texture to work with. I was very happy to draw in it in some situations. Perfect size and cover. Bonus, it was free for me because of the scratch on the cover. They told me to keep it and refunded the money. Happy times! You're probably wondering why I'm so fussy this time. I have a very good reason. I'm getting older and my vision has never been perfect. White paper makes my eyes tire faster, and I'm losing some of the joy of drawing. This is also why I draw much less detail now and my style has become looser. My go-to sketchbook are cream or ivory colored. I found A4 the most comfortable size to work with, but I also keep a smaller one for travel. Royal Talents are amazing, but this not so well-known icon sketchbook is something I really like to touch and spend my art time with. This paint is not for me, and I don't mean this specific brand. Acrylics just dry too fast and tend to get messy. For my workflow, I prefer materials that are quick and easy to work with. Just grab and go. I have lots of tubes of gouache in beautiful colors. I love this paint so much and I'm really happy that I choose this brand. However, In the future, if I run out of a color, I might buy a replacement from Schminke or Holbein, as they have the consistency I prefer. Right now, I don't really have the excuse to buy new paint. Actually, this year and last year, I haven't spent much on art supplies at all. I need to use what I already have. And that's actually a very good way to get to know your materials better. And this is the part I would like to talk about: handmade sketchbooks. They are not very difficult to make, and there are lots of free tutorials on YouTube. Cotton paper sheets are not as expensive as you might think, and there are plenty of brands to choose from. If you're afraid to use cotton paper, try Bristol paper, or simply use something you already have at home that you don't really use. Making your own, not so perfect sketchbook takes away the fear of using expensive art supplies. Trust me, when you make it yourself, you will use it all the time and actually enjoy it. If you want to try paints or other art materials, auctions can also be a great option. I bought about 80% of my art supplies that way. I have a few vintage colors from Celerier that you can't even find anymore. I think I paid around £40 for 36 colors, and I even got a tube of cobalt blue core paint as a gift. Online stores sometimes sell products for very low prices when they change their range. I bought slightly used core paints for a fraction of the price when they weren't very popular in the UK yet. So, what about you? What is the one art product you absolutely love? Or maybe you have a love-hate relationship with a famous one. I would be very happy to hear about it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Anyway, I wish you happy bargain hunts. And please remember, the best art materials are the ones you feel comfortable creating with, the ones that give you a smooth and enjoyable workflow. All the best. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!